Morning all, how are we? So I've taken myself along on this fine afternoon to Retro-Sect. It's around in the Gloucester area, Tewkesbury actually, north of Gloucester. It's a bit of a drive for me, only about an hour and a half round trip, but totally worth the drive. So come along, have a little look around, see what you think. I'm really happy there. The guy, Ben, who owns the shop and runs the shop, really nice guy. Got chatted to him for quite a while. I was very fortunate. I walked in at just the right time to start filming in terms of how busy the shop was. I did ask him actually. I said, "Oh, quite quiet for a Saturday. Trying not to sound offensive or anything." But no, it was. He said that literally it'll get manic in the mornings, and I went along on Saturday, and I think this was around about 11:30, 11:15. He said it'll die off for an hour or two, and then come after lunchtime, it will go nuts. And he was not wrong. Literally, I was there for a good 3.5 hours actually, and through no fault of his own, I said, "Oh, do you mind if I just speak to you at the end, do a few questions and that?" And you're probably seeing a little bit, but yeah. So looking around anyway, as you see, they've got this perfect stay and play kind of area, which had plenty of things to do, like your Mega Drives, and obviously the Game Boy Color, and you've obviously got the standy Game Boy as soon as you walk in. I'll go around everything I can. There's a lot of things here that I've seen that I don't know what they are, this cabinet being one of them, but still cool all the same. This little section in the middle here, this is where mainly the toys were. It is very heavy on the game side. It's a very strange mixture. I didn't get a chance to ask too much about, but this little section here, as you can see, all retro toy focused, and a few cabinets down all the way down on the right, so towards the end of the row, and obviously the left side is majority of which is the games and onwards. Some really decent toys, as you can see in the cabinets. A few things I would like to have got, to be honest with you. But this is where the odd influence comes in. There was so one half of the shop is, as you can see, and as we're touring, but the other half is his other passion, which is cars. And I didn't get a chance to ask him too much, but from the looks of it, it's a display room of classic cars, and I think he does them up himself. I really wish I had a chance to question him a bit further on it. Maybe someone else has been there and they can tell me a little bit more about him. But yeah, the conversation I was having with him was mainly around games and everything, and just a few questions here and there about how he's getting on, what's going on, general chit chat. But the stock itself, absolutely incredible. Just keep looking. Just to step in very quickly and make a very quick point, this was actually the second time I've shot this video. I headed up and met Ben a couple of weeks prior with a friend. John actually was with me on that day, the guy with the thumb, 2 thumbs actually, and got home, went to upload the video and start an edit, and realised the file had completely corrupted, so I'd lost everything, and I was there for a good hour and a half. So thank you, if Ben, you do see this, mate. Thanks, the best of hosts, and allow me to come back and do it again, because I can only imagine how frustrating that can be, having someone just taking up floor space in your way. So thanks again, mate. Yeah, I'll be honest, I have no idea what that is. I assumed it was some network adapter, but I had a network adapter for the PS2 and I do not remember it looking like that. Does anyone know what that is? So this became a bit of an obscure corner for me. It moved into a bit of, well, vintage clothing as well as like vintage and retro like TV sets, some of which I've never seen before. Um, it some really good stuff. There's literally something for everyone. You had even like cassette players and VCRs and recorders and stuff. So there was a little bit of everything. Just like that little tiny one there. I don't think I've ever seen one of those, especially not in my life. Anyway. So this is the bit that got all me hot and bothered under the collar. You had a lot of Japanese import stuff, and I've probably not stopped going on about it the last few videos that I've done, that I just really am getting drawn to Japanese box art and accessories and toys and everything like that. Now, I'm not really into the Pokemon thing, not massively anyway, and not an anime person whatsoever. I've just it's something to do with the way that, like, look at that. That was I believe that was a T-shirt that was sold in the Tokyo Nintendo store, from what I remember him saying. But it just all looks so, it's basically fascinating to me. Look at the way it displays, look at the way the art style always pops. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is. It's got to be a word for it. Now, this cabinet here, oh, this was it. This was the one for me. Need I say any more? Just look at it. Drink it in. I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time, not gonna lie to you. One thing I am after is a few SNES Japanese imports, Super Famicom stuff, maybe a couple of NTSC, but nah, Japanese stuff's where it's at for me at the moment. I know I've been one track minded for such a long time with Mega Drive, but these are just stunning. Like I say, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Google Lens has been my best mate recently. Always nice to see the original magazines. I am not, well, I've promised myself I will not go down that niche and collect those. There's just no way of displaying them for me. But they are really nice. I could easily get sucked into it. Now, another reason I came today was to make a deal, and a deal I was very much going to have. In these cabinets, as you can see, there's some original Game Boys and some modded ones. I really had my eye on that one right there. Now, The only reason I had my eye on that one specifically was, you know what I'm after. I'm after a modded full bells and whistles Game Boy. And I've got that placeholder that I found at the gaming market. I did ask about it, and again, it was the same situation with what I've got at the moment. It only had the IPS modded screen, no USB-C, and no interchangeable color screens, you know, where it rotates through when you tap in the contrast button. Ben did get it out for me, showed me, told me about it, said it was in really good nick anyway. And there was another one that was Game Boy Color Pocket, I think it was. No, it was the original Game Boy Pocket, and that had all the modifications, and the screen was flawless. Could not show you a better one that had been modded and done. Only problem is that I wanted it on the original Game Boy, so I know maybe from a collected standpoint I should be going for the original green screen, and if I'm not going to use it, I'm not going to use it. But there's just something about that I want the option to. If I do want to do it, I still want the option to do it, even if I never use it. I know that's a complicated way of putting it, and hopefully that makes a little more sense. As you see, all the high-end stuff he's got behind the till, like your high-end handheld modifications that he has, I think they're mainly traded in. There was a girl there, actually, that when I was just going through, I overheard her trading in a DS Lite, and she modded them herself. And since Ben has advertised that on his website, on Retro-Sect, find him on Facebook and stuff, and it was the original Pokédex, so she'd reshelled it with a Pokédex, and it was so well done. It was very unique and very well done that she did it as a hobby, I believe. I tried to not interrupt and not kind of earwig too much, but it was just such a fascinating conversation. I was like, oh, I've got to mention it. So we're just coming to the end of the tour now. As you can see, he's got some really stunning, gorgeous, upmarket Game Boy cartridges for sale there, boxed form and loose form, and also all of his high-end boxed and Mega Drive and PS1, etc. is all in the cabinet there. There wasn't, it is well enough displayed, so all you need to do is just simply ask, can I have a look at that one, please? So it wasn't like it was double stacked back, you couldn't see everything. It was all perfectly laid out, and this makes the most sense to me, having it behind glass where he can quickly reach it, because there's nothing more frustrating than having it behind glass cabinets and it being halfway across the shop. Then you got to go get the guy, oh, can you get the keys, and then go get it. And like CEX, for example, that can get a bit frustrating, can't it? Go, oh, there's one in the window, can you go grab it for me? They don't know what you're talking about, so you've got to walk over and point out for them. So this is perfectly ideal. Everything you want to see in glass, protected, high end. Can I have a look at that, please, Ben? Yes, you can. Here it is. And he can just pull it out in front of you. I wanted to go have a quick look at the console that you can play with out the back. This is the garage area with all the cars. But as you can see, as I did set up the camera ready to do it, people just kept coming in. It was one after another. And this was only like a 30 to 45 minute stint. So I just said to him, look, I'm really sorry, mate. I've got to make a move. He was apologetic, and he did not need to be. At the end of the day, business comes first. I'm a nobody. He is more than welcome to deal with money before me. He owed me nothing, and he did give me the time of day to talk to me throughout the day, and a couple of his mates were there too, and we had a good chat. So I'm going to head back now, and we can discuss the little deal I made with him. So yeah, back from Retro-Sect now. Got those pickups. I've just put I've dropped a little image in, and we're looking at just another SNES controller because I needed one. Snowboard Kids on the N64. Played the hell out of it when we were kids. The N64 is actually the first ever Nintendo home console I had in my household. Growing up, it was... So the very first one I played was Commodore 64, then it went on to Master System, and then it was the Sega Mega Drive, which is obviously why I'm doing that. And that absolute beauty that was the Magical Quest, Mickey Mouse. Reason getting that, I would like to get every mainline Disney game starring Mickey Mouse. So that was one that was on the list. The box was in excellent condition. It was all complete with manual and inserts and everything. And the way I came away with that was that I actually had a second PSP that was trading into him, and he beats every price. Literally, he's very fair with his pricing. And he said, like, literally anything you want to trade in, bring it to me, because I will beat CEX. So I'm like, okay, if he was on the doorstep, I'd go all every time, but it's like probably an hour and a half to 2 hours round trip for me, so it's not very convenient, but I think it's worth more of an effort to go up and down there, so I probably will going forward. So that's it for this week's video. Thanks again coming back. Please like, subscribe and share and all that stuff, and I will see you on potentially the next video soon. So thanks very much. Bye bye.